All right, Donna. Now moving from team accolades to individual accolades. Here's a quote by Gerard Pique, somewhat advising, and I would think as well quoting Erling Haaland. Reading from my phone, it says, "If I were Haaland and I wanted to win the Ballon d'Or, I wouldn't go to the same team as Mbappe." What do you make of that comment, Jay? Do you think that's wise advice from Gerard Pique, or do you think he's playing at something?
Gerard Pique is now the wise old head giving advice to younger players and the trajectory they ought to take in order to achieve some of their wildest dreams. Gerard Pique doesn't even have a Ballon d'Or, never even come close, but he's actually giving advice about how you go about winning a Ballon d'Or. Having said all of that, though, Gerard Pique is correct. First of all, though, he is saying this to Haaland, and we know why he's saying this. Because on the surface, PSG are the employers of Mbappe. That's where Mbappe plays. Mm-hmm. So is he warning Haaland not to go to PSG? Of course not. He's seen the reports that we've seen that Mbappe has agreed to a pre-contract with Real Madrid. He's going to Real Madrid in the summer, and you would think that is where he's likely to be for the majority of his career, which will encompass his prime. Haaland as well maybe has already come into his prime, scarily might only just about to be coming into his prime. And Gerard Pique is looking at the landscape and he's thinking to himself, well, if Real Madrid are going to get one of the two marquee players of the generation, then we need to be in a position where we get the other guy. They had Ronaldo, we had Messi. Once upon a time, they had the Galacticos, and we had Samuel Eto'o, we had Ronaldinho, and the like. You know, so if Mbappe and Haaland are at Real Madrid, Gerard Pique knows that it's game over for the Blaugrana and anyone else for that matter.
Especially because he's still defending in that team, so he knows it's going to be trouble.
So that's the reason why. You know, that's the reason why he's advising Haaland not to join up with Mbappe. Although I don't think he's incorrect, but I'll get back to that.
All right. Look, I think, yeah, he is dreading what may be if Real Madrid suit up with Mbappe and Haaland as forward options. They'd be extremely dangerous because on their own, they're electrifying in terms of speed, skill, goal threat, creativity. They are next level in terms of what's available from the young talent. But as well, Jay, I know the conversation is Ballon d'Or, but if I want to build a dynasty, if I want to be like an all-time great, I'd rather be in an all-conquering team.
Who are you in this scenario? The player?
Yes.
So if you are Haaland.
If I'm Haaland, if I'm Haaland, I'd rather be in an all-conquering team, knowing for the next 5 to 10 years we are just shutting it down, winning Champions League, winning league titles, winning domestic cups. That Ballon d'Or, especially because, Jay, I don't think we're going to replicate the era of Messi and Ronaldo where it's just either Mbappe or Haaland, and then Mbappe's got 5 and Haaland's got 7 or whatever it is. I don't think that's what's going to happen. So if they're in the same team, what is most likely to happen is that they go on a run of, in the 10 years, win the league at least 5, 6 times, win the Champions League twice, 3 times. You have a better legacy, I think, being a superpower than trying to go with individually.
If your goals are just centered on, I just want to win team accolades, right? I just want to have a career whereby I'm part of a team that has the greatest chance of winning the biggest prizes every season, then I'm with you. But if I am investigating the question of where are my best chances to win a Ballon d'Or, I believe, Chuck, there are players who are differently talented. There are players at the age where Haaland is, where Mbappe is, they know, as we know, that they've heard it from their coaches. They've compared themselves to what is out there as well, and they know that for the next decade there are a collection, a spattering of very good players, great players, and at the very top of that mountain, I am there or thereabout. I am one of the guys who has a chance to either dominate football, if not completely do so. I'm going to be one of the guys who's consistently going to be in the conversation for Ballon d'Or consideration and Ballon d'Or glory. And if you know that about yourself and you're about to make the next move, one, you know that you need to be at a particular club, of a marquee club, one of the Big 5 leagues. In Spain, you're talking about Barcelona and Real Madrid. Over in England, we know maybe not the Big 6, maybe Man City, Chelsea at this point, Liverpool. We'll see what happens in the future as well. And the other thing that you don't want to do, in my opinion, you don't want to join up with another guy who is in that conversation, in that realm, in that stable with you, talent-wise, and a potential winner of the Ballon d'Or. So if I am Haaland and I see Mbappe going to Real Madrid, and I have dreams, desires, imaginations of Ballon d'Or glory, I am not joining Mbappe at Real Madrid. I am going up against Mbappe. So I am either going to Barcelona or somewhere else. Case study, Cristiano Ronaldo. Already Ballon d'Or winner with Manchester United, 2008, European champions playing under Sir Alex Ferguson. Then they lose to Barcelona in 2009, and that is the rise of Lionel Messi. He wins the Ballon d'Or. You look at the team that they lost against, you thinking to yourself, these guys are going to dominate for a long time. They go on to be one of the greatest teams of all time. Ronaldo does not stay in a situation whereby, okay, this is comfortable, and I believe he would have probably had a greater chance of winning the Ballon d'Or earlier had he stayed with Manchester United and Sir Alex Ferguson. Because where he decides to go is Real Madrid. And this is not Real Madrid coming back off back-to-back Champions League titles. This is a Real Madrid who haven't won a Champions League title since 2002. This is a Real Madrid team who've only won 2 La Liga titles, I believe, since 2006. And Barcelona have been dominating from Frank Rijkaard and Ronaldinho to Pep and this Messi team. And Cristiano Ronaldo says, that's the guy I'm taking aim at. That's the guy I want to play across. That's the guy I want you to think. I want you to think about me when you're thinking about him. I want you to talk about me when you're talking about him. So I am going to join Real Madrid. And if he goes on to score a world record number of goals, if he's scoring 70 goals in a season, I'll come with 60. I'll come with 50 goals a season for 6 straight seasons. And with the mindset of, if he's the GOAT, I'm a GOAT. And if he's living out a legacy where you are going to think about him as the greatest of all time, well, I am going to make you think twice about that. And I will not do that as his teammate. I will not do that as one of his servants. I am going to do that as the guy, main guy in my own team.
Can I interject there and say, Guti, this statement as well, if we look at Pique's statement and what you are now giving us as a backdrop and a story in terms of Haaland's ambitions, it sounds like it's already crowned with Mbappe as the better talent. And if you are going to go to Real Madrid, you're going to be in his shadow. What if Haaland is the better talent and he can shine and be even better than Mbappe? What if that is the platform to say, I'm playing with the best guy and I'm outshining him? Does that not speak volumes? I mean, when Messi was playing with Xavi and Iniesta, who are world-class players, even in the year when they won the Euros, the year they won the World Cup, they were mesmerizing for Barcelona, mesmerizing for their own national team. Whereas Messi didn't win anything with his national team, but Messi still trumped them in the club stage. So for me, if you go to him with him to Real Madrid and you dominate and you are still the one, it's undoubted. But if you're gonna try and compete, if you take the league, I take the Champions League, then it's a question of arguably who's done what. It's a conversation again like we had with Lewandowski versus Ronaldo versus Messi, Ronaldo versus Messi, which was the decade-long battle and even longer. So for me, if I'm Haaland and I think I'm as good as I think I am going to play with that man. I am like Neymar. I'm going to play with Suarez and with Messi. I'm like ooh.
Do you win the Ballon d'Or as Neymar playing with Messi though?
I know what to going to Paris. Paris didn't help me neither, because one, I am further from the Champions League than I was when I was playing with Messi, because Lapo, we're guaranteed the league. Sharp, but we're not competing. So for me, I think you stand a better chance if you're in a super team to build your career. And I don't think Donawuti Mbappe will want some, well, since we're both vying for the Ballon d'Or, let me not pass to you, let me make sure to shine above you. They're gonna Ballon d'Or goes hand in hand with team accolades. So if you're in a struggling team but you chose to go out on your own, you lessen your chances. But if Donna, I think this is the equation that we use for PSG in terms of the Champions League. Messi plus Neymar plus Mbappe equals Champions League. That's what we thought. It's not what necessarily is happening, but that's what we thought. Because Ballon d'Or and accolades go hand in hand. It's very rare that you're blind and you have a good season and you win it. Accolades have to be in your back for you to say, here's my claim to fame. So if you want to duke it out E1 and go to Barcelona, where maybe they have money, they don't have money, but you're going to play Nabo Traore, Nabo Aubameyang. I don't want to try that experiment.
Chuck, you're not going to be by yourself. Like, if the advice is not Haaland goes and joins some team that is struggling in the championship or
he might, but Barcelona are struggling.
Barcelona are going to come back. To
what level?
They are going to come back eventually. I'm not saying he should go to Barcelona. If of course, if he's checking what is happening, and Barcelona one of the options. For example, if you are having a conversation with the guys at Bayern Munich, if they are saying, okay, we are ready to offload Lewandowski and we are ready to then put the team on your back, you go to Bayern Munich in that situation. So if Bayern Munich, as things are constructive, if Bayern Munich are on the table and Real Madrid are on the table with Mbappe, go to Bayern Munich. Go have Bayern Munich be your team. Go carve out your own legacy at Bayern Munich. I can tell you, Chuck, that the moment all the Galacticos joined up, none of them won a Ballon d'Or. None of them won a World Player of the Year. Coming into Real Madrid, they had these accolades. Ronaldo was a star man over at Barcelona when he first won it. Was a star man at Inter Milan. Same thing at Juve with Zidane. Same thing with Figo at Barcelona. But when they were together at Real Madrid, it didn't happen. Now, granted, there were other issues with the chemistry of that team. But when stars of that ilk join up together, it is rare. I would venture to say impossible, because I can't think of anything on the top of my head where a guy who you are looking at saying that these are the 2 or 3 best guys in football are playing together and both of them have as fair a shot as the other one at the Ballon d'Or. What tends to happen is it lessens your chances, because
but lessens the moment whose chances? That's the question. That's what I'm saying, Uti. This conversation sounds like, well, Haaland, if you want a Ballon d'Or, how's about...
So let me put it...
The idea is that Mbappe is already there.
Let me put it this way. Yeah. If it was certain that where Haaland is going, I would say the exact same thing to Mbappe. So it's not a matter of although I do think that Mbappe is the more dynamic talent. We've seen more from him even up to this point. Also, with Real Madrid specifically, Real Madrid have coveted Mbappe for a long time. And it feels to me that the moment he joins, that's going to be his team, because he was a year out from being a free agent, and Real Madrid went in with a 200 million bid for him. That's the crown jewel. That's the guy Paris is looking at. That this is the guy who's leading us into the future. So he's the nucleus. Whoever is joining after that, they are joining Mbappe's team. They are there. He's the guy with the yellow jersey, and you are, as I'm saying, you are the worker ants in that situation.
That's interesting.
However good you are.
But look,
Chuck, look at Benzema.
Yeah?
Look at Benzema. Benzema was not anywhere close conversation of being a Ballon d'Or winner when Ronaldo was there. Ronaldo leaves, he's flourishing. But
it's not like Benzema is facing Messi and Xavi and Iniesta and Busquets at their peak. He's facing this Barcelona team who are his closest rivals. He's facing this Atletico team, which is not the
just in La Liga.
richest.
Like in terms of his how you think about him and how you view him and where what idea he occupies in your mind's eye compared to the other stars in world football.
But what I'd say to you is that there was a time when Ronaldo was playing with Rooney, and it was like these two guys are on fire. Yes, at some point Ronaldo surpassed Rooney.
There's no way, Chuck, when Ronaldo entered his prime, that I thought to myself, oh, Rooney has as good a chance of winning the Ballon d'Or as Ronaldo. The moment Ronaldo entered his prime,
that's because
Rooney they had to go their separate ways.
Ronaldo is a team player, and it was engineered.
That's because Ronaldo is better than Rooney.
No, but man, that's because Alex Ferguson changed them around. Ronaldo was originally a winger. Rooney was a striker.
The accommodation was made for who? For Ronaldo.
But they don't say
at that point Rooney needed to leave.
Need to leave and do what?
If he wanted to win the Ballon d'Or, that's what
I'm saying. Rooney is a team player and he was okay with it as long as they were winning stuff.
He's great. He likes being a servant. So sure, look at
the wording. The servant serving who? He's serving the team. All of them are playing for the badge. All of them are playing. Jay, you number one, you're saying, Uti, you've always mentioned this, that you're not the biggest fan of individual accolades because you can't get there by yourself, right? It's largely a team sport, and if anything, award the team, because there are lots of contributing factors to your success. You scored because there was an assist, you scored because there was a foul, whatever the case is, right? Someone else contributed. So if I'm saying to you, rather than having Müller, I'd rather have Mbappe as next to me in terms of trying to get the Ballon d'Or, because he's probably going to give me a better assist. He's going to put me in a better position.
The guy who has Müller has won the Ballon d'Or. Okay, he hasn't won the Ballon d'Or. He's won the FIFA.
He's been robbed.
Well, as we know, we'll get into his comments.
And here's what I'm saying.
But he has been crowned the best player in the world by FIFA.
But Mamela, here's what I'm saying as well, Guti. That guy, as dominant as Bayern Munich are, because Udlala Germany, he's been overlooked because it's a farmers' league. They're winning things all the time. So if let me put it this way: if Haaland goes to Bayern, he's not been
overlooked. He's won the FIFA Best Player award 2 years running.
He should have won the Ballon d'Or. They've given it to Messi at the wrong time.
As I told you, I don't think it should have. But
let me say this: if Haaland goes to Bayern Munich, what different thing will he be doing than what Lewandowski is doing while being overlooked? What new thing will he bring that's like all of a sudden, hey, that striker over there is great? Because Lewandowski's been great and has never been considered that great because he's playing in the Farmers League.
No, Chuck, that's not entirely true. Just because he's not won the Ballon d'Or does not mean that he hasn't been in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or consistently over the last 5 years.
He should have won, what I'm saying. Ching,
Chuck, you're not always going to win it.
We had a conversation earlier. No one remembers second place. No one remembers third or fourth.
But
so
you are not always going to win it. Ronaldo has not always won it. Even Messi has not always won it. Yes, there's a debate, but their chances have been greater at winning it. They've been in the conversation. They've been considered, and they've eventually won it.
How many Bayern players have won it in the last 20 years even?
How many Bayern players have been as good as Lewandowski in that time period? I don't think Schweinsteiger was a guy who looking at it like he should win the Ballon d'Or. That there were no obviously other better players than him at the time. Even when Ribéry was on fire.
Ribéry and Robben
were great, but they were playing in an era of Ronaldo and Messi, and I don't agree with you that they should have won it.
Same as Lewandowski, he's playing in the era of Messi and
even
Ronaldo.
When they did not win it, Chuck, they were in with a shout. They were being mentioned. Because if either of Ribéry or Robben were playing for Barcelona or playing for Real Madrid at that time, I promise you now, their chances of winning the Ballon d'Or, even of consideration, would have been far less than what they've been when they were in their own teams.
Wait, run that back. You were saying it would have been considered less if they were playing in different teams.
If Robben was doing what Robben was doing at Bayern Munich, but was doing it at Real Madrid with Cristiano Ronaldo being Cristiano Ronaldo, you would have not looked at Robben and thought to yourself, maybe perhaps that guy is the best player in the world. His chances of winning the Ballon d'Or would have been less playing next to Ronaldo or playing next to Messi versus playing in Bayern Munich where neither one of those guys are there. Same thing with Ronaldo and Messi.
What I'm saying
if those guys had teamed up and played together either at Real Madrid or Barcelona, their chances of winning the Ballon d'Or would have been less than what they were being at Real Madrid and at Barcelona separately.
Fine, I get that point, but my point is this: Ronaldo is streets ahead of Robben. So regardless of what Robben does, he's never going to surpass him, the same as Ribéry, right? But here's my thing, because at this point it has not been defined clearly. You might have a favorite, but it's not been defined clearly because they're yet to hit their prime, at least Haaland, who is the better talent, and the roles are different as well. So for me, I think if you're we've seen teams power up when it's just two talents. We've seen Kane and Son. They've dragged Tottenham to however far they can. If you plant Son at Everton, what is Son going to do at Everton? So my point is this: if Haaland is taking a risk of playing with, we don't know if Barca or whichever team builds Ngobani and with how much in terms of the budget. I'd rather have those two in the same pot. That would give me the best chance if I can surpass you.
When you say I'd rather have those two in the same pot, for me, I'm hearing you are a guy who's putting this team together. And if I'm the guy putting the team together, of course I want those guys together. But going back to the premise of the concept, if you're a guy who wants to maximize the chances of winning the Ballon d'Or, what I'm saying is your best chance is not to team up with a guy who has just as good or better a chance of winning the Ballon d'Or as you.
I wouldn't agree. I think to have a better career and to have a better shout for a Ballon d'Or.
Literally, I can think of Best and Law and who's the other old man from Charlton. Those guys won Ballon d'Ors playing together at Manchester United. And I believe Beckenbauer and Müller as well did the same thing at Bayern Munich. But since then, it hasn't happened. If it has, welcome to be corrected. And even if it has happened, it has been such a rare situation. In the past 50 years, Chuck, teammates don't win Ballon d'Ors because there is, as much as it's a team game, there is very clearly a dominant guy within the team that if this team garners success, the guy who's going to win the Ballon d'Or is the star man. The only reason Modric won the Ballon d'Or that year is because Croatia made it to the World Cup final. Otherwise, no one else at Real Madrid was winning Ballon d'Or for those back-to-back Champions League titles other than Cristiano Ronaldo, the star man.
At this point, we say that Salah is the better person in Liverpool, right? A couple of seasons ago, we were saying that Mane is the guy at Liverpool. So they were playing together, and at some point, one was better than the other in one season. The other one was better than the other one in another season. So for me, they coexisted for Liverpool, were the main attacking threat. And one season you could say Salah is the man. The other season you could say Mane was the man. So there is evidence on a good run in a good team, you can find two good players playing together that feed into one another. And because of that, they've won the league. The league has come back. They've won the Champions League. And because they are part of an all-conquering side, record total, you then consider Mo Salah, Sadio Mane. What was Sadio Mane doing at Southampton? What was Mane doing at Fiorentina, at Roma, at Chelsea? We don't know. But since they've come together, built a super team where they've hinged all their hopes on these two guys. That's why it was such a big dilemma. AFCON is coming. We're going to lose our two biggest stars. They're in the same team. One time you could say Mane was the man. The one time you could say Salah was the man. So there is evidence which you can build a super team.
Not true. Not that you can't build a super team. What you are saying about Mane and Salah, when both of them were at the same level, yes, that was being said, but they weren't really being spoken about as the Ballon d'Or winner. Salah was being spoken about as a potential Ballon d'Or winner when he scored those 42 or 44 goals.
The season after Mane had a better season.
But he wasn't being mentioned as this guy might look like the best player in the world. Wait, hold up.
He has a better talent than Mo Salah that season.
The point I'm making is not that if you put stars together, they're going to play well together. That's not the argument that the team is worse off for having two stars. Of course, they're better off having two stars, and they're better off with both of them being in their prime, playing up to that level at that time. What I'm telling you is, each time Mo Salah has entered the conversation of being a Ballon d'Or winner, Mane has not been in that conversation. Right now, last year, when Mo Salah has been on this filthy run that he's been on to begin the season in the EPL, he, by himself, in that team, is the guy spoken about of maybe he should win the Ballon d'Or. He's the guy who's being robbed. Even after winning the AFCON, no one really is talking about the fact that, well, Mane might be in with a shout to win the Ballon d'Or end of the season. Had Salah in Egypt won the AFCON, the whole world would have been blowing up with with talk of, now he's got the international accolade. Now this is more backup that why he's the guy who, when you're looking at, he's a Ballon d'Or candidate. At this point in time, whether you like it or you don't, Mane is not in that conversation.
I want to say two things. One, you were saying if Mbappe is acquired, as it's rumored by Real Madrid, whoever joins is going to be Mbappe's shadow. When Salah hit 42, Mane was clearly in Salah's shadow, but the following season he came out of Salah's shadow to shine by himself. Sure, he didn't win the Ballon d'Or, but what I'm saying is that he was able to stand by himself on his own time.
He didn't become a worse player. It's not to say that the other guy makes a worse player.
No, I'm not saying, Mamea, you were saying if there's a shining light in the team, your best chance is to avoid your shining light and be your own light in another team.
But what did Salah do the following season? Did he have the exact same season as he did when he was scoring 40 plus goals and in the Ballon d'Or conversation? But had he continued that way, you would have looked at him as the star player, and the other guy is his Robin.
Subsequently, we can say as well, Mane hasn't had the best of season. We look at Mane, we're like, there's something wrong with Mane. He's not quite himself. But to go with that, Jay, in terms of Mane winning the AFCON, Jorginho did jack spit for Chelsea. Had a good tournament for Italy, and he was in the conversation for Ballon d'Or's team of whatever. N'Golo Kante had a good 5 games. So for me, already, I'm posting my ballot to Mane. You're in. I don't care what he's done for Liverpool. He's won the AFCON. That's the conversation people are doing for Jorginho.
That might be your opinion, in the world, but facts say facts. It's facts. Even if you bring up Mane and Salah, that would be an exception to the rule. The rule is not that two guys who playing together both have the same and equal chance at winning the Ballon d'Or. The rule is you have a better chance of winning the Ballon d'Or, and it has been awarded that way if you are the star talent by yourself in that team and don't have a guy who is an equivalent at the very top of the game next to you. That is the rule. That's what we've seen throughout history.
That's what happens more often than not. But me, now taking this, going back to a comment,
you're a team player, and that's great.
No, going back to your comment, Pique, Mbappe should not be afraid of, Haaland should not be afraid of Mbappe. If that's where he wants to go. You can still win your
fear.
No, my man, here's what I'm saying. You can still win your Ballon. If you're as good as what we've seen, and if you back yourself, any team, any jersey you don, you can win the Ballon d'Or. That's what I'm saying.
That
Ronaldo had,
you may say
Jay,
that, but
Ronaldo had ambitions.
If there's a template of how to win the Ballon d'Or, you take the template.
Ronaldo had ambitions of winning the Ballon d'Or from Assertions Sporting. Went to all-conquering United side. He win Ballon d'Or. He went to a struggling Real Madrid. It didn't matter which shirt you put on.
Giggs was good, but like, he was not in Ballon d'Or contention.
No,
and at the time when Ronaldo joined,
he went to a team where it was not favorable.
He was
for him
18.
To shine.
Like when Ronaldo joined Manchester United, he wasn't being spoken about as Mbappe and Haaland.
No, I'm talking about the ambition to win the Ballon d'Or. He was probably a birth from the time as a Sporting. But he played against Abu Juarez and Mashon, played a United when he was daunting to go there and be the man. He went to Real Madrid and went to be the man. So
that was not at the time when he was thinking of himself as a Ballon d'Or winner. I
don't think Ronaldo's ever considered himself not to be a Ballon d'Or winner.
You might say that, but no one else. We're talking about there was no comment that would have come from another player or anywhere else for that matter that was saying that 18-year-old who just shone in that match against Manchester United for Sporting, if he wants to win the Ballon d'Or, he shouldn't join the other phenom at the time who, as an 18-year-old, other phenom teenager. Because when Rooney was at United joining Ronaldo, you weren't thinking to yourself that, well, that guy, the Portuguese, might be better. At that time, Rooney's star was higher. But if at that point in time, if Ronaldo was being spoken about as the next phenom in football, and Rooney was the same conversation, and they were trying to decide where they need to go, it is my thought, it was my opinion, it would have been my advice to him as well. Don't go there.
Go to Arsenal. Go to Arsene Wenger.
At the time, if Arsenal are the main rivals of Manchester United, go to Arsenal and be the guy who's facing up against Rooney at Manchester United, or vice versa, whichever the case may be. At the point,
we have to say that thank God his elite mentality led him to United. Look what could have been of his career. I will feel it, man.
It's not the elite mentality that led him to United. You know the story. Please, don't come here with stories that don't exist.
All right, let's move on, man. I think we've reached an impasse.
I'm right.
Oh, before we leave that, let's just go shortly into Lewandowski saying Uti, he's come to the opinion Uti, FIFA the best award is better than the Ballon d'Or. To that, you say?
Of course, he's going to say that. That's the one he keeps winning. You know, it's actually, I'd actually say in my mind, before the FIFA Player of the Year merged with the Ballon d'Or to be the FIFA Ballon d'Or, I considered the FIFA Player of the Year to be the bigger award.
Like just a European awardee. Ballon d'Or,
and for the longest time, the Ballon d'Or wasn't being awarded to anyone but people from Europe, and then people playing in Europe, and then it became a global title. Also, because there were years where Nedved was winning the Ballon d'Or instead of Thierry Henry. There were years where Michael Owen, like in 2001, Michael Owen won the Ballon d'Or, and in that year, either Figo or Zidane won the World Player of the Year. Michael Owen, Figo, Zidane, you know. So then the Ballon d'Or became what we think about now. The prestige.
But what elevated it? Because
it was joining with the Ballon. Yeah, because there was one title.
Why did their names stand out as the main one?
Because it's the older trophy. In my opinion, it's the older one, and because you must remember that the Ballon d'Or is from L'Equipe, if I'm not mistaken, which is a news publication. So they're running the narrative. You know, FIFA just stacked on their name to the award, and then they just continued what they were doing, which is why now FIFA are struggling to have this award, the FIFA best player, be recognized as on a similar level.
It almost feels like an afterthought, because
it feels
in
like
most
that.
cases the one who wins the Ballon d'Or also wins the best.
Okay, Lewandowski won it, but Lewandowski didn't win the Ballon d'Or. And it's like, because the idea is that the considerations that the Ballon d'Or is still bigger.
I think they're not quite rid of Sepp I mean, he's still the best. That man knew something, although he was corrupt.
But you know, the other thing is, had Lewandowski says what he says, and Lewandowski's been saying quite a lot in recent times, even if they had stayed separate, Ronaldo and Messi I would think, would have won all those FIFA Men's Player of the Year or FIFA Best had they been separate awards in those years as well. So yes, Lewandowski has actually more FIFA titles than Messi right now, but that's a technicality. I don't know if in the future they're going to want to revisit and say that award the best to the guys who won the Ballon d'Or during the era when they were together. But yeah, man, Lewandowski also has an issue with the fact that Messi didn't vote for him in the FIFA Best, because he says that Messi stood on the stage at the Ballon d'Or and says that he should have been awarded the 2020 title. And
so wait, Messi didn't vote for him in 2020.
In 2021.
Oh, in 2021.
Which is the other thing. I'm like, bro, he would have voted you last year. And he's complaining about the fact that Messi voted for Mbappe, for Neymar, and for Benzema. And because if you say I deserve the award, then why won't you back me and vote for me? And
that's true, because he did better numbers the following year, though.
Chuck, but then Messi's not obliged to vote for Lewandowski.
He must speak the truth.
He
Messi
may,
must
he
speak
may
the
give
truth.
his opinion that he should have won last year. And the other thing is, if Lewandowski was paying attention, he would know Messi has always voted for his teammates. Suddenly, he thinks Mbappe is one of the best players in the world. Prior to that, he was voting for Suarez and Neymar and Iniesta and Xavi. So you've got the award, man. Like, you've got the award.